Welcome to this session. I'm so glad you're back. I hope you're feeling good after your last session. Let's have a look at what we'll be doing today. So today we'll be doing some fascia stretches for your chest. They are really very important, very beneficial in achieving proper upper body posture. Okay, so clearing the dense tissue in the chest will leave you standing a lot taller and prouder with your shoulders and head pulled back with ease. Remember, if you feel any discomfort in the neck or shoulders, either use less resistance, work in a smaller range of motion, modify it, or stop completely. Stay mindful about shortening the chest muscles in each stretch to get the most benefits out of the stretch. You might find that your muscles start shaking a little bit, and that's completely normal and completely fine. Okay. So you'll also find your core gets a good workout with this. Okay, so we're going to get started. You will need a mat, a chair, and a wall nearby so that we can do these stretches. Let's get started. Does this look nice? And do you think it's good for you? Not at all. Okay. With our daily living, a lot of the stuff that we do is in front of us, like I've said before. So we tend to sit like this. As a result, this area over here becomes very tight. So what we want to do is we want to open up our chest area. Okay. If we don't, we're going to look terrible in this posture, and we're going to end up having a lot of neck pain, shoulder pain. It can lead to a number of problems. So we want to really work at opening up this area. So what we're going to do, we're going to start out in our child's pose position. So your knees are apart, your feet are together. We're going to go down like that. Okay, so our hands are down. You can take your hands as far forward as you want to. I'll show you now what you're going to do. We're going to push our hands are shoulder width apart. We're going to push down into the mat with our hands and bring it in towards our knees. So we're pushing down into the mat and that way. Okay, so obviously we're not moving our arms. We're keeping our hands flat on the mat, and we're just going to push down, pull towards the knees. We're going to hold that resistance, hold that activation, and you're going to move back, take your bum back, 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 while holding that activation. And then we're going to release and come back up. Okay, so get into this position. So remember, we're shortening this area. We're activating by pushing your hands down into your mat, so directly down, and now pulling it towards your knees. You'll see that your knees kind of resist forward. Once we have that activation, we're going to take our bum back. Keep that activation. Release and back up. So obviously you can take your hands further forward if you can. Let's activate again. Push down, pull hands towards your knees, hold it like that, and we're going to take our hips backwards. Keep that activation throughout the movement. Release and back up. We're going again. So let's push down, pull towards your knees, hold it there, and release. Let's do two more. Activate, pull back, keep that activation, and release. Last one. Activate, pull back, and release. Okay, now we're going to take our hands slightly wider apart. Okay, so your thumbs are on your mat, your fingers are off your mat. Remember, very important that we're focusing on that posture, hey? I don't want you doing that. Okay, we want to tuck the chin, shoulder blades down towards the bum, okay? We don't want to do this. We are keeping the rib cage tucked in, and we are engaging our deep core muscles. So remember that pelvic floor, that lifting, that sling. So we're lifting up, activating those transverse abdominal muscles by actually narrowing the corset, okay, so tightening the corset, and then your diaphragm at the top, which acts as a nice strong base for your lungs, and we are using all those muscles to create a nice strong core connection, okay. So hands are further apart, we're still with our knees apart, heels together in our child's pose position. We're going to push down into the mat now, but as we push down, we're going to pull inwards, okay, so we're pushing down and inwards. Obviously your hands don't move because they stay flat on the ground, but we're going to push down and inwards. Once you have that activation, we're going to start moving back, keep activating, keep pushing down and inwards with those hands, and release, and back up. Going again, so let's activate first, make sure your posture is correct, don't do that. Activate, push down and inwards with the hands, start taking those hips back, and release, back up. So it's important that we shorten the area, that we activate the area by pushing hands down and in towards each other. We hold that activation, so you're feeling that tightening the whole time as you move, taking the hips back, keep it there, and now you can release and back up. Let's do 2 more. Activate, hold the activation, and let's move back. Keep that activation, don't let go, and release, back up. One last one. Push down and inwards with the hands, pull back with the hips, release, and back up. Okay, we are going to go now with our hands like that. Okay, so with our hands in this position, we're going to put our hands on the ground, so our fingertips. Ideally, I don't want your hands flat. Okay, so try and do it on your fingertips. If you really can't, then you can put your hands flat. Okay, but try and keep your hands in that position. Okay. From there, once again, we focus on our posture. So chin tucked back, shoulders away from the ears, rib cage tucked in, and our hands are directly under your shoulders. Okay. So we're going to activate by pushing our fingertips down into the mat and in towards each other. We're going to hold that activation, and we're going to bend our arms. So we're going to take our chest towards the mat while holding that activation, and now release and push back up. Okay, so let's go on your finger. So let's go on your fingertips, pushing your hands down into the mat and inwards. We're bending the arms, taking the chest down towards the ground. Release and push back up. So we're activating by pushing the hands into the mat and inwards towards each other, bending the elbows, taking that chest down towards the mat. Keep that activation. Release and back up. Activate, bend, release, and push back up. Let's do 2 more. Activate, push those fingertips down and inwards. Bend those arms, taking that chest down towards the ground. Release that activation and push back up. One more. Activate, push those fingertips down and inwards. Keep it like that as you bend the arms, taking the chest down towards the floor. Release and back up. Let's do one last one. Push down and inwards to activate. Bending the arms. Release and push back up. Good work. We're going to sit on our chairs now, okay? So you're making your way onto your chair. We're sitting up nice and straight so that string is pulling you up towards the ceiling, lengthening the spine. Our legs are hip width apart. Our feet are nicely grounded to the floor. What we're going to do, we're going to take our hands to the back of your chair, okay? So from there, we're going to shorten the area, so we're going to do that. So curl forward slightly. I don't want your shoulders all the way forward. I want you just bringing your shoulders back slightly. And then from there, we're going to activate by pulling our hands into the chair. So we're pulling that way, okay? Pulling forward. So we're going to activate by pulling forward. Make sure your chin is tucked back. And from there, you're going to keep pulling forward, but you're going to start curling up into that position. And now release and curl back. Okay. So let's go. Make sure the chin is tucked back. I don't want this happening. Okay. Chin tucked back. Feet nicely grounded to the floor. Activate by pulling your hands forward into the chair. And now we're going to curl up. Keep pulling those hands in towards the chair. And release. And back to our start position. Activate. Start moving. Keep that activation. Keep pulling those hands into the chair. And relax. Back to our start position. Let's go again. Activate. And curl to open up. Keep pulling against the chair. Release. And back. Let's do two more. Activate. Hold that activation as you move. Release. And back. One last one. Activate. Open up. Release. And back. Good work. Sitting up nice and straight. We're just going to roll the shoulders back. Lengthen your spine. Open up the chest. Take a deep breath in as we shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. And breathe out as you drop them down. Shrug them up. And breathe out to take it down. Focus on taking that chin back. Shoulders up, around and down so your ears are in line with your shoulders. Make sure you're not sticking your ribs out. Tuck them in. Ribs over your pelvic bones, your pelvis. And hold that position. Well done.